Okay, and we are recording, everybody. Yay!
Yay! Good
Yay.
morning.
Good morning. It's
Morning,
nine.
fellas.
It's fucking 9:30 in the morning.
That's a way to
8:30
date
over
this
here.
episode, or hour this episode, I suppose.
Yeah.
So we are going to be discussing Digimon Adventure 02, the beginning, the movie that released in theaters in the U.S. like 3 days ago.
Yippee!
This will be filled to the absolute brim with spoilers. There will be a time code in the description for when the spoilers actually start. At first, we will just be giving our general thoughts without going too deep into any detail.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll go ahead and start off. So I think I might have liked this more than Kizuna in the long run.
Hmm.
I liked this more than Kizuna as well.
I I really, really, really liked this movie. It
I
does
will.
a lot of things right.
I gotta admit, I was not the hottest on this movie.
See, this movie fixed the biggest issue I had with Kizuna, in that it's not just the two characters getting their time.
That's true, yeah.
It gives everyone like their moments, and I'm like, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Cause like my biggest gripe with Kizuna, and I think I've talked about this with a lot, but like there's really no Joe moments, there's no Mimi moments, there's no Sora moments. It's all like
Yeah. It's a
Koshido,
tie in that show.
Yamato, yeah.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, and this
Which
movie gives
Hmm.
almost
everyone.
everyone.
Well,
Yeah.
more than Kizuna did, that's for sure.
True. But yeah, so like I really, really, really liked this movie. The second viewing really sold me on it, just because there's so many small details and stuff that really flesh out like everything about basically the entire universe of like the adventure timeline,
Hmm.
and it's all really, really fascinating. And it's just like it's one of those things that it's one of those Digimon properties that I feel like just it gets it. Like it gets what Digimon's like about at its
Hmm.
like absolute core, which is the bond between people and Digimon.
Yeah.
Because that's like literally what this movie is about, top to bottom.
Hmm. Yeah. I think I was less hot on it than you guys. I think they definitely pull it together at the end, and I really, really, really like the ending. But it just kind of felt like I don't know. I don't know. Like it's like 70% of the movie is in flashback.
I'm okay with that because it means it's not the same as how they did Try.
That's
Where
true.
they're
Yeah.
where they're like, hey, here's this character. She was a Digidestined, and trust
Hmm.
us. All right, have fun with her. Whereas this is
Yeah.
like this guy, like like,
Here's his
problems.
deal.
Yeah, like
Yeah. And like I think he's good. It's just also like, man, I just kind of wish that he didn't take up all the runtime. I really would have liked them to give us like maybe 20 30 minutes of not going into his backstory and then hitting the third act, just so we could see the zero two kids do something other
Uh,
than listen to him and then fight.
I feel like the 02 kids still get plenty despite how much of the movie is actually just Louis' backstory. Because
Yeah.
like the entire beginning until they go up to the tower is just them hanging out and talking, and then every
Yeah, and
time
that's
it's in
really nice.
between, yeah, every time it's in between the flashbacks, we get little interactions between them. There's
Yeah.
background dialogue that you don't get to hear if you watch the sub because they
Yeah.
didn't sub the background dialogue.
yeah, I did notice a little bit of that. That I'm like,
Yeah.
I see. I'll have to wait for
Yeah.
fan subs to come out.
Yeah.
Or you just
It's just
estimate.
my like I agree with that. It's just my thing with it is it none of it really feels too substantial, which was my
I
biggest
disagree
issue.
entirely. I feel like a lot of the character interactions in this were like very substantial. It really sold a lot of the, well, not sold, but
Angel, have you watched O2 Adventure O2?
I have not. No, that's
Okay,
so
that
I'm,
probably.
I'm going into this
Yeah,
without
that is
having watched
almost
O2.
entirely why, because there's a lot of like little character moments that you go, oh, I see what you
Mm-hmm.
did there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not having seen O2 definitely hampers the experience, I would say.
Probably. Like, I don't think I missed out on anything of the plot because of it.
No, 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 no.
But it's
No.
like, yeah, I'm just sitting there thinking, yeah, I kind of wish that any of the 02 characters had an arc in this movie. But
Well, I mean,
I do think Louis' actual character arc is really good. I do think the whole Ukomon thing is weird, but also I like the Ukomon and Louis' relationship. So
if you say anything bad about Ukuman, I will destroy you with
Okay,
my
but
mind.
so before we continue talking, because like honestly, I think
Mhm.
that's as far as we can go without getting into real spoilers.
yeah.
It is now time to get into the nitty gritty. We can probably just start from the beginning of the movie and like work our way through it, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Hell
Okay.
yeah.
So it's
So,
spoiler time, everybody.
All right. So first things first.
There's an egg.
There's an egg.
Shoutouts to cheese.
Shout out to cheese.
Yeah, you sure do
Uh,
love using the
Okay,
Adventure
but
OVA soundtrack, eh?
the soundtrack choice in this movie was like honestly perfect. Like I
Yeah,
don't
it was
think there
pretty
was
good.
So
ever
good.
there was never a miss with any of the music that they chose or played or made.
The new version of Target is so good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like all like the lights like flashing in all the cities and like all of the text showing up on all the screens is like
Mhm.
It
it
was really
fits
good.
like it's like something mysterious is happening. Ooh.
Yeah, so every text, every screen across the entire world says, "May everyone have a friend. May every person have a Digimon."
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
not mysterious or ominous whatsoever. Or inherently dangerous, which they go over that later.
yeah, so yeah, it's this all happens on. So the movie takes place in 2012, which I believe is a year
Yeah.
after Kizuna. I think it's a year. It might be a
Yeah.
little
Yeah,
longer than that.
February of 2012, so like
Mm.
winter time.
And that's like,
Specifically, February 21st through the 29th.
and that's six, no, not 16, 12 after the original adventure.
Yes, the original adventure is like
Yeah.
1999, 2000.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, so all the characters are about 20 years old, I believe.
Yeah, because the 02 kids are 2 years younger.
Mm. Because we know Louis is exactly 20, since we know
Yeah, yeah,
yeah his exact date of birth.
yeah. Because he's born
Is
in
he
fucking leap year.
is he 20 or is he 5?
Good question.
Good question.
But yeah, so the giant digi egg appears over Tokyo Tower, and then we get the cool intro where it's all the O2 casts doing what they do now, while the like new range of Target plays.
It's very good. It's very extremely good.
Yeah,
It
they all
is.
they all
I think
meet
my
up. They...
favorite. Oh, go
Mhm.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say my favorite is Tailmon sitting with the kids and they're all
Yes.
like pulling on her, and she's like,
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking great. Oh, I need to point out, since we're talking about everyone's character intros, the outfits in this movie are fucking phenomenal. I
"Oh yeah."
Yeah.
love the way every character looks in this movie. Oh god, it's so good.
Takeru's beanie is so much better than the bucket hat he had
God,
in the
I know.
original
I
one.
fucking love Tucker's white boy fit.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And then so they're all like sitting in the cafe and they're just like talking about like sort of like what happened, like
Yeah, the egg.
the egg.
Mm-hmm. The
Um,
boys are all chilling.
like
and
and,
then-
and Takeru and Hikaru are like, yeah, we can't get contact with our brothers. They're so busy
Yeah.
right now, dude.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part is Hikari being like, "Yeah, no, I tried to call Taichi, and he was just like, I have no time for small talk right now," and everyone's like, "What?"
It's like, damn, that's weird. And then you see him on the TV, and he's just like visibly stressed out.
It's like,
'Cause he's a fucking
oh shit,
diplomat.
he like is doing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the last mention of the original Adventure Kids we have in the entire movie.
It sure is.
I mean, I think at least with Takeru, I think there's like a little bit of like implied, like he's like definitely thinking about things that happen in
Mhm.
Kizuna, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
not like directly mentioned after. No.
I think they mentioned Koshiro a few times because
Yes, they do mention
he's the
Koshiro.
Digimon expert.
Yeah, while they're
And
in the
like that
cafe, while they're in Davis's cafe, they're just like,
I
man, he's
think they
so
mention him once when they're in the big like computer room, don't they?
yeah,
Once or
Yeah.
yeah,
twice?
yeah. The hyper super computer club or whatever the fuck they call it.
Yeah.
Stupid name.
He's not actually present anymore. He's just an alum.
Mm.
And then there's a really funny moment which made me question, or not necessarily question, but realize what Patamon is,
Mm-hmm.
because they're talking about something, and I think Patamon goes, "Oh, I understand," and Takeru goes, "Do you though?" And he goes, "No."
Nope.
And and it made me realize that Patamon is just like a Starbucks white bitch,
Christ.
like drinking the lattes, doesn't know shit about what's going on. He's just a Starbucks white bitch. Let's be real.
Absolutely.
I think my favorite thing is that Patamon is chilling on on Takeru's head the entire movie.
Yeah.
Yes, just the
Like most
the
of the
entire
other
time.
most of the other Digimon are either walking or being carried, and now Takeru is just or Patamon is just chilling on Takeru's head the whole movie.
Well, because it's like a lot of them are fuck it, is it Armadillomon or is that the evolution?
Armadillomon is
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like way too big to be
Yeah.
carried.
yeah.
Hawkmon just doesn't feel like the type to want to be carried. He's too
Hawkmon wants to
dignified.
feel like a person.
Like sometimes Hikari picks up Tailmon.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Sometimes Wormmon is just chilling on Ken's
I mean,
shoulder
yeah,
like the
there's
fucking
a
worm
whole
from
moment
Jujutsu Kaisen.
where Ken like kneels down and you just see Wormmon slowly crawl up.
Mhm.
Yeah, so on the news they're just like, oh my god, there's some kid climbing the tower right now, and they're all just like, wow, what a fucking idiot. And then I think it's Iori points out, hey, motherfucker's got a Digivice.
They're like, oh shit, dude.
Oh no, he's a Digidestined. So they all
I
rush
like them
out.
I like them all getting the cops called on them multiple times.
Yeah, every time they do
Actually, I'd be
anything.
losing it.
So yeah, they go to the tower, and Louis is in the middle of climbing the tower, attempting to get up to the top, and he falls.
Yeah.
And he's everyone's just like, oh, he's dead. He's just fucking dead. Thankfully, they've arrived on the scene, and Stingmon catches him.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, them getting caught by the police begs the question, because in Kizuna, they're like fighting the Parrotmon, like without like they're obviously like.
Yeah, so from my understanding, the original Adventure Kids were unfortunately kind of public with what they did to save the world, because it happened in the real world. I don't think the O2 cast ever did anything super crazy in the real world, so they have to kind of keep it on the down low.
Yeah.
Digimon are allowed in public, but trespassing into an active crime scene is not. So yeah, they rescue Louis and bring him back down, and we get one like I love Daisuke's characterization in this movie. It's so fucking perfect. Every word out of his mouth is like excellent. Him and I think him and Miwako are the two that get like the
Oh, for sure.
make out the best in this movie. They're so good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like
what now?
they what? Shut up. we all know Daisuke's really gay.
We'll get to that later.
But fucking so they rescue Louis and like they start having a conversation and Daisuke's like, hey, just so you know, usually when someone saves your life, the first thing you say is thank you. I just thought I would point that out for you.
And then Louis goes, I didn't ask for you to save me.
And Daisuke's like, oh, it's on. And he's like about to start beating the shit out of this guy. Of course, Miwako's just like, no, shut up, stop it.
He's so funny. I love him so much.
So they start having a conversation about what exactly Louis' deal is, since, you know, they're all Digidestined, so they are unfortunately involved whether Louis wants them to be or not.
Yep.
And Louis is basically just like, no, partnerships between Digimon and humans aren't real. They're fake. It's slavery. And they're all just like, bro.
I don't think, does he say, I think he just says that, like, humans and Digimon just bring each other misery. Isn't
Well,
it?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, when fucking he tries to walk away, Miwako's like, Hawkmon, stop him. And Hawkmon
He's
like
like-
stops him, and he's like, listening to whatever she says, huh? It must make you so happy. It's like, dude, fucking
Be
chill
fucking
out.
normal.
Mr. Edgelord over here.
Mhm.
And yeah, so they go into the whole, no, like, we're actually friends. You can stop being such a whiny bitch about everything. And then he tries to walk away, and Hawkmon, like, gets all up in his face to try and stop him, which rips his eye patch off, which reveals that, Jesus Christ, he has a Digimon eye.
Yeah.
Real horror shit, by the way.
Which is, like, this was the first instance of this movie being like, by the way, there's going to be genuinely fucking upsetting horror shots in this movie. I hope you're prepared for that.
Yeah.
I was not ready for some of the later sequences that happen.
And they're
Yeah, no,
all,
really. It's what the fuck?
Yeah, and then they're all like, "What the fuck? What happened?" And he's like, "I killed my Digimon partner."
Yeah, it's like,
Mhm.
I don't have a Digimon partner, I killed him. And they're all just like,
Also,
"What?"
I was the first, by the way.
Yeah, I was the first
Yeah.
Digidestin, first one to ever make contact and enter a partnership
I,
with a Digimon.
I was partnered with a Digimon before you guys. Everyone thought it was cool.
Mhm.
So at this point, the cops show up, and they're just like, shit, we gotta go. Go find someplace, like, good to talk about all this. So they go to, like, the stairs of some remote shrine where they can just kind of, like, hash things out.
Yeah.
No, that's okay, yeah. Oh
Hmm.
Yeah.
'Cause and
Because they're like,
I'm
okay, the cops got called on us. Let's get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And then they start to like try to talk it out. Everyone but Daisuke tries to talk it out with Louis, and then Daisuke's like, "Fuck it, we ball. Let's go to the egg."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then they just immediately progress into
Yeah!
into Powdermon.
I am so god. Them just being like, all right, fuck it. We'll just have the full, entirely recreated Digivolution sequences in the movie. It's like, yes, good,
Shit ever.
awesome.
Yeah.
No skipping this shit.
They literally just make all the original sequences HD, and it's really funny.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so
Well, to
like
be fair,
the conversation leading up to them actually deciding to go to the egg is like really good because you know like they're all like wondering what to do, and Daisuke is just like, oh okay, so we'll just go to the egg then, and everyone's like, what? And he's like, yeah, no, we'll just go. Like, come on.
We can just do that. Yeah.
He's so good. He's so good. I fucking love Daisuke, dude.
He's the best.
Such just the best little happy-go-lucky. This is also one of the times where in the sub they didn't sub it, but Miwako's saying something to Louis and Daisuke just cuts her off, and in the dub in the background you hear her going, "Oh yeah, no, that's fine, Davis. I wasn't talking or anything." It's so good. Fucking love them. But yeah, so we get the full Jogger sequence, which looks incredible, by the way.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic.
And so so it's just it's Ken, Daisuke, and Louis riding on Paildramon's back as they go up to the egg to try to make contact with it.
which Paildramon's model and animation is so very good. I love it. When
Yeah,
anime
so
does-
yeah, the fact that they have so anytime they're at perfect or above, which is like the majority of the time at this point,
Yeah.
they use 3D models. They look fucking phenomenal. Like they look immaculate. It's nuts how good the models look.
like I mean, okay, so I'm kind of like I really love it when anime does 3D models, right? I really like Trigun Stampede, Land of the Lustrous, like, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where they actually take the effort to try and stylize it
Yes.
and like make it look good within the world that it's in, rather than just being like, here's a 3D model, fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I know. 3D models in anime have been getting a lot better recently. I feel like Digimon also is easier to make them look really good because they don't have like proper human faces, so they don't have to worry about the awkward like
Yeah.
emoting stuff. I know plenty of shows have been doing it recently where they just have the 3D models but they animate the faces by hand, which is in my opinion the best way to go about it. I think they did that for the first 3D show I ever watched, was Booby Keeper Anki.
I've never heard of that, but
It's a really good show. I love it.
okay.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trigon is also similar to that, where like there's a lot of like in the US there's a lot of animated movies that do a similar thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like Spider-Verse, I think the Charlie Brown movie did it,
Mm-hmm.
where like depending on the angle of the model or the face, like they change how like the actual model is,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
rather than just keeping it as a static model.
Yeah.
Anyways,
God, it looks
enough
so good.
geeky. Enough gigging out about a 3D model.
So yeah, they're just kind of like flying around the egg, and Louis like is attempting to get any kind of reaction to it, and
Yeah.
then something happens, and like it looks like a gust of wind, and it like
Yeah.
blows Paildramon off course, and it causes Louis to fall off, and Daisuke's like shit, grabs Louis's hand, and then Ken's like damn it, and then grabs Daisuke's hand, and they all fall.
Yep. And then they
Grovel
fall
like
through the
hams.
egg, except not really.
Yeah, so
Oh, it was funky.
now's when the weird shit starts happening. This is basically when the movie actually starts.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
This is
as
where we
they're-
enter the flashback dimension.
Yeah, so when they're falling through the egg, they all find themselves just like lying on the pavement of like, and it's like a different time of day and everything. They all get up and they're just like, where are we? They start looking around. I believe Ken says, isn't this Hikari Gaoka?
That's after they see our two friends.
Gotcha. So the very first thing that happens is Daisuke looks toward the little bridge they're in front of, and climbing up the stairs of the bridge is a little baby Taichi and Hikari,
Yeah.
which is
And, like-
fucking weird.
It's really
Yeah.
funny that this is the only time you are going to see these characters again. Well, except not
I think-
Hikari, obviously, but
I think it was a neat touch to be like to people that watched like Adventure 01 and like the original movie that like, hey, we haven't told you this outright yet, but this is the past.
yeah.
Yeah. I also love Daisuke being like, the spiky-haired kid looks familiar.
They're just
Doesn't
kind of
even-
they're just kind of also it's like they're dating it by showing you, hey, this is happening during like OVA
Yes.
era.
This movie
not 01.
This movie is so good about telling you exactly when parts of Louis' story are taking place in the actual adventure timeline. It is
Yeah.
so good about it. Like it's either lines of dialogue or in one case it's the TV being like, "Hey, look
Yeah.
at the movie happening literally right now." But so yeah, and then Ken's like, "Isn't this Hikari Gaoka?" And they're just like, "Yeah, that's weird." And we see that Louis is like a little bit forward, and he's just kind of like frozen, standing. And
Yeah, like-
further down the sidewalk, there's an adult woman walking, and a little boy with also purple hair who's like struggling to catch up with her. And they're just like, "You okay, buddy?" And then he says, "That's me." And they're just
They're
like, "What?
Oh,
Huh?
fuck.
Excuse me?" So they decide to follow baby Louis home because they're at the fucking past at this point. We may as well go. And Louis knows what day it is immediately.
Yeah.
So now we start following from baby Louis' perspective. Gets home with his mom. His mom is like very clearly stressed out. She's talking like, "Okay, I have to make dinner for Louis, and then I gotta check on the husband, and I gotta da-da-da-da-da." And she's like rapid fire talking about all the things she has to do right now.
And she even like looks stressed out because she like her hair's all over the place. Like her face
Yeah.
is very.
I don't quite remember. Did she have visible bags under her eyes
Yes,
or
she
not?
does.
Yes,
she does.
okay.
Very much so.
Yeah.
So Louis enters a room in the house and starts, and like I think immediately you see like the IV and you can hear the like respirator going, and it's like, oh no.
It, like she
Yeah.
even mentioned, I think even before we see that, it's like she mentions like the oxygen should be good for a day. I need to talk to the doctor, something like that.
And so as it turns out, Louis' father is currently in a coma,
Yeah.
Yup.
being taken care of by his mother, which explains pretty much everything about the way his mother is acting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he goes in there to say hi to his dad because he's a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she freaks the fuck out immediately.
Yep. Oh yeah, she loses it immediately and starts screaming at him like, "Don't touch that! If you touch it one way, your father could die. Do you realize this?" Kicks
Yeah.
him out, says, "Go watch fucking TV or something." And so he does, and he's sitting on the couch.
I think specifically she says, "Go watch TV and don't get up."
Yeah. Yeah. She unfortunately says something very specific. So she's after that he's like sitting on the couch and she mentions, "Oh, I'm making your favorite. We're having hamburger steak tonight." And he's like, "Yay!" And then as she tells him it's ready, she's like, "All right, come
And
get
to
it."
up.
Yeah, and unfortunately, because she specifically told him to not move, he has wet himself. And
Yes.
this causes her to just fucking snap.
Yeah.
And she starts screaming, like, why wouldn't you do this? That's not what I told you to do. I can't believe you. Why are you always make things difficult for me? She takes off his shirt, and you see he is covered in bruises. His entire midsection is completely covered in bruises, so clearly she beats him regularly.
Often, yeah.
It's fucking, like, I remember I was watching this scene, and my stomach just fucking dropped. I was like, oh,
For me,
no,
it was...
Like, it just comes so out of nowhere.
For me, it was the initial thing where, like, she kicks him out of the dad's room and then is, like, immediately like, okay, I'm making your favorite. And I was like, oh, it's this bad. It's, like, the full cycle in, like, 5 minutes. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was like I immediately knew, like, oh, this is not gonna be pretty. But that, like, the second the bruises hit, I was like, holy shit.
I didn't think it'd be that bad,
Yeah. I was like, and then she throws him out onto the balcony while it's snowing, by the way, and he's in, like, a large oversized t-shirt, and that's all he's wearing. And, like, at this point, you can see how, like, emaciated he is.
Yeah.
It's
he was wearing baggy clothing before, so like you couldn't really tell.
They're really smart about making sure the impact of the whole this kid's being abused really severely. So, like, he starts screaming and crying, begging to be let in, and this is when we see that Louis, Ken, and Daisuke are, like, in the bushes outside watching this, and Daisuke is immediately like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of this woman, and, like, gets up.
He immediately wants that violence.
And Louis like, nah, bro, it's, no.
Nah,
like,
man,
yeah,
don't do this.
Ken's just like, we don't know what would happen if you change the past. You can't. We just have to sit here and watch. And Daisuke is so pissed. Like,
he's like, I don't give a fuck. Get out the way.
Me and this woman are going to have words. I believe he says, I'm going to give her a piece of my mind.
I'm willing to bet the piece of his mind is actually a piece of his fist.
God, Daisuke is the best. He's the fucking best, dude. So, at this point, it cuts back to child Louis, who is slowly talking less and less. And then we get this really, really horrific part where it's almost 15 full seconds of silence as he's just sitting there.
Not moving.
And it's like I was just sitting there like, guys, please, anything?
Yeah.
And then thank God he says, I'm so cold, and then there's a noise, and it cuts to a reverse shot, and the Digi-Egg is just there, and I'm like, oh, thank God he's not dead. Like, it would make no sense for him to be dead, because he's alive, but, like, somehow they managed to convince me this child might die. It's fucked up.
And so he, like, crawls over to pick up the egg, and it starts glowing gold. Because it doesn't look like a typical Digi-Egg. It's, like, more, like, futuristic, I would say. Like, it's got...
Yep. It's the first ever Digi-Egg.
Yeah.
Like, it's got, like, a almost, like typical, like, cybernetic, like, blue line going across it.
Yeah, it's a very simplistic white egg with a wavy blue line going down, or, like, left or right across the midsection. That's it.
Yeah.
And at this point, adult Louis, like, gets up and starts running toward him, being like, screaming, like, don't make the promise. And then we cut back to where everyone is hanging out at the shrine. We don't get any further than that quite yet.
Well, we do see, like, as he's, like, running... Wait, does it cut before they get kicked out, or...?
What do you mean?
When he's running towards the thing, like, after he starts to run and be like, to be like, don't make that promise, they get kicked out of, like, the past or whatever.
Yeah, so, it does the really, really cool tracking shot where, like, little Louis starts fading into the background in, like, the black void, and we get, like, the shot of Louis running toward him with his arm outstretched, and it does the really cool, like, pan from left to right around adult Louis's back, and it looks sick as hell.
And you see, like, a Digimon's eye, like, look towards him.
And then it zooms into the Digimon's eye, and it hard cuts to them falling to their deaths.
Yeah.
At which point, all three of them get caught. Daisuke gets caught by Angemon. Ken,
and then,
Ken, Wormmon, and Vmon get caught by Angemon, and I think Stingmon, or no, not Stingmon. Who the fuck catches?
That's the last one.
Aquilamon catches Louis.
Yeah.
And Louis, like, just sort of, like, perturbed, like, sitting there. He's like, dumb.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all back down. They're discussing what happened. Just like, what do you like? Daisuke's literally, we went back to the past, and Miwako's like, "Shut the fuck up, Daisuke." And then Ken's like, "No, like actually, I'm pretty sure that's what happened." And she's like, "I'm sorry."
Yeah.
They're like, no, you were just like falling for a few seconds.
It was like, yeah. Takaru was like, "Yeah, no, you fell. You went through the egg," and he's like doing hand motions and everything, and then you came out the other side, and that's it. It took like maybe 3 full seconds for it to happen, and then the sirens happen again. And
then they get a fucking helicopter called on them.
Yeah, we forgot to mention it the first time, but when they get called by the police the first time, Takaru's like, "Someone climbed Tokyo Tower, fell off, and then Stingmon caught him. It would be weirder if they didn't find us." And then this time, Daisuke's like, "How did they find us?" And Takaru's like, "You guys circled around on Paildramon, fell off, and fell through the egg. It would be weirder if someone didn't find us."
I think it's also important to notice when Daisuke was first talking about this plan, he was like, "We'll just go on Paildramon, in and out, nobody will notice."
Yeah. It's such a fucking idiot. I think everyone even mentions that's not much of a plan, but whatever. He's always like this. Oh, it's so good. So they run again. And this time they opt to split up. They're just like, okay, we fucking everyone split up. We can't let the cops catch us.
Scatter. I think Takaru or someone specifically goes scatter.
It's really good. And so at this point, we finally. So this is like that was like the first act of the movie, and now we move into the second act, which is basically the act where it's like, okay, here's Louis' deal for 45 minutes.
Literally, like the next, like you get all this, and then you go straight into the third act.
Yeah, and it's
third
like
act is like 10 minutes long, by the way.
But like the Louis stuff is like, holy shit! This like to me, this is what like literally the most compelling part of the movie is the next like chunk, because we get it's flashback, a brief conversation, flashback, brief conversation, and then the really really good rooftop scene, and then the finale.
Yeah.
And so yeah, they decide to meet up at the Super Hyper Computer Club or whatever, the Hyper Multi-Dimensional Computer Club, I think. And of course, we get the classic catchphrase that Angel doesn't know, but they get the Digimon Mon.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, nothing beats the classics.
Yeah, and they're all just like, "You think we're a little too old to be doing this anymore? We're like 20.
And they're like, "Shut the fuck up." It's about the vibes.
The vibes are so immaculate, and they're all just like, "Yeah, nothing beat." And they're holding the D3s, being like, "Nothing beats the classics," and it's like, man, shut up.
Yeah,
it's really funny they say that given what happens at the end of the movie and what they say about what happens at the end of the movie. Okay.
Before the flashback starts, there's a point where like Louis is like, "Do you guys really think your bonds with your Digimon are real?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Yeah, duh." And like Ken specifically is like talks about having to like actually like become friends with Wormmon for specific reasons that I won't go into because it's fucking spoilers, Angel.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, yeah, Ken specifically is just like, yeah, sometimes we have disagreements, but we move past them and we get stronger. And then Vmon's, yeah, like, what? Here, Daisuke, let's show them what friendship is. Reaches out his hand, and Daisuke's like, oh, hell yeah. And they shake, and Vmon's just like, this is what friendship is. This is the unbreakable bond.
And I think literally everyone, including Louis, is like staring at them like,
huh?
Okay.
Yeah. Fucking Daisuke and Vmon are the best.
They just a singular brain cell. They have like half a brain cell between them, but goddamn, do they make good use of it?
Yeah.
And then they're like, "All right, you gotta tell us what's going on now. What's your deal?"
I forget if he talks about it earlier, but I think this is the point where he says Ukomon has the ability to grant wishes.
Yes, he mentions that the egg is Ukomon.
Yes. And he's like, Ukomon is a very special Digimon. He has the ability to grant wishes. And everyone's like, what the fuck do you mean by that?
Yeah.
And then this is when this is when they talk about how Ukomon was actually responsible for all Digimon partnerships. Which is what triggers
I still think that's dumb, for the record.
So
I just don't like when they introduce this deep into a franchise that no, actually, the entire thing was a result of this character you've never heard of.
So the thing is, based on the rest of the movie, I don't necessarily think that's true. I don't think Ukomon is responsible for creating Digimon partnerships.
Yeah.
I think the entity that Ukomon represents, which, of course, we still don't know what it is because they really want to be vague about this shit.
Wait for the third movie.
Yeah, honestly, I think that's what this is setting up for.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, they're gonna, because like so the scene is a lot. Like this first flashback to Louis is like they drop so much fucking lore. So he establishes that Ukomon has the ability to grant wishes, and then he says that Ukomon is responsible for Digimon partnerships. At which point everyone is like, "Are you telling us our friendships are fake? Fuck you, dude!" And then like I think Daisuke immediately like fucking slams his fist on a desk and is like, "Fuck off."
Yeah.
He gets so annoyed, and everyone's like, "Dude, calm down. Like you and Digimon are best friends." And he's like, "Oh yeah."
You're right. Sorry, I got a little ahead of myself. but yeah, that's when he explains that like the wish he made, which he doesn't explain what exactly the wish is yet, was responsible for creating all partnerships between humans and Digimon. Because Ukomon is attached to some very powerful entity. And at this point, Hikari says, could they be talking about homeostasis, which is a thing from Original Adventure that wasn't given a name until Try, so homeostasis is technically a retcon, which sucks and nobody likes, but they had to throw in the one Try reference, so they did. However, based on the fact that everyone's just like, maybe not, I don't think it's homeostasis. I think they're leading up to the reveal that Yggdrasil is in the Original Adventure timeline.
Can you fucking imagine?
I think they are building up to Yggdrasil is an actual thing.
Yeah.
Because I would love a third adventure movie that's all the adventure, like the entire adventure cast and Royal Knights. I would fucking kill for that.
Yeah.
I would love to get Jespon in something that's not Try.
Yeah. Plus, if it's Royal Knights and we get stuff with Daisuke, we might get All Force Vijramon and official material.
We're not getting All Force, but
I can dream. But yeah, so I am of the opinion that Ukomon was like a first attempt from Yggdrasil to start bridging the gap between humanity and humans.
Yeah.
So and that's what this wound up being. Like essentially what Louis wound up wishing for, because I guess Yggdrasil was like, here's a horribly abused child, let's use him as my first test subject. Sends Ukomon, and then of course this is when we get to the flashback, which goes into what exactly happened. So Ukomon hatches and starts gleefully dancing around. Louis calls him
happy birthday.
Louis calls him Unkomon.
He's like, no, it's Ukomon.
It's Ukomon. Anyway, Louis, I've got a present for you. And then he makes a shitty little cake out of snow.
Yeah.
And
Which
Louis
then
like
breaks apart and has the Digivice in it.
The original Digivice.
Which I think is bigger than the Digivices in the first adventure.
The design is slightly different. It looks a little more like retro future because it's got like the screw sticking out of it and everything.
It's the same design, but I'm pretty sure like it's like the size of like a normal hand, like a normal palm, whereas like the original ones are like slightly smaller than a palm.
Yeah. Then again,
but also Louis is fucking tiny.
He's 4 years old.
Yeah.
This is true. But it's pretty big even when he's holding it in the present.
True.
Is what I mean.
True.
Like it's still that big when he's holding it in the present. But it's like very definitely like, here's a prototype Digivice.
Yeah, 100%. When Louis is freezing to death outside, he also mentions that it's his 4th birthday today.
Yep.
Yep, sure does. And it's so Ukomon sings happy birthday, and at this point, when they're all talking about they're laughing and having fun, Louis' mom walks out.
He's like, why are you making all this noise?
What the hell are you doing? We're making all this noise. It's like, didn't I raise you better? And like she starts screaming. And then something happens that would immediately made me like, oh no.
I don't know if you know it. Cause there's a shot like where you don't quite see like his mom's face, but
Yes.
you also see like Ukomon like floating at like eye level with his mom,
Mm-hmm.
and you
Mhm.
don't see what happens there, but you can tell that something happens.
Yes, they make it very clear that something just happened, and it's really off-putting, because like the build-up is very clear. Like there's rapid shots, the music sting is happening, and then like as she's about to like explode on him, it cuts to some snow falling off the roof onto the railing, and then we have the shot where it's just their shadows, and you can see Ukomon's shadow is at eye level with his mother, but you can't see them at all. You just see Louis staring up at them. And then all of a sudden his mother is just like reaches down and gives him a little pat on the head, and she's like, "Oh, you're so cold. Come inside."
Mhm.
And it's like,
Yay!
yeah, and it's just like
Mhm.
I legitimately thought that it was Ukomon was just gonna fucking kill his mother, like right there.
I
I
also
thought he was
thought
just gonna
this.
kill
I
her.
also thought that.
Well, because like there was the part where because Louis specifically mentioned that he wanted friends that
Right.
would
Oh my
protect
God. Yeah.
him,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so like I thought like something was gonna happen, like his mom was gonna come out and go to hit him, and Ukomon was gonna be like, "All right, fuck you,
Fucking explode.
Yeah.
explode in your head."
Right. So
Mhm.
the wish that Louis made was to have many friends all over the world who were nice and would be there for him and protect him. Which,
Yeah.
when this wish happened, my immediate thought was Final Fantasy XIV. All I thought about
Alright.
was Emmett Selk being like, "Did you even think about what you were asking?"
Mhm.
We should put Emmett Selk in Digimon. It would be funny. He, his head, I think he might explode from all of the friendship and love happening. Anyways, enough
Yeah.
about Final Fantasy 14.
So yes, they go inside, and Louis starts talking about how from this point on, his life immediately got a billion times better. His mother started being nice to him. His dad woke up, and that's immediately just like, that's not right. Something weird is going on. But it's all like these really brightly lit, happy scenes. Everyone in the room's like, it sounds like this was a good thing. Like, what the fuck? Like, you need to keep
Well-
talking. What happened?
Well, before the flashback ends, I think is his next birthday, like his next actual birthday.
Oh
I
god,
think.
wait, is
Yeah.
the 8th birthday scene before the cutback?
I
Yes.
think it's before. Yeah.
The 8th birthday scene nearly gave me a panic attack watching it.
Cause Ukomon comes up and he's like, "Hey, like I made you some friends, but they're kind of busy right now."
Yes. Oh, I love this line. I love this fucking line. He says that because the original adventure is currently in the middle of happening.
Yeah.
It's so
And
good.
he's like, but your next birthday will have even more friends and they'll all be here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Which is
and,
probably alluding to the 02 kids.
And then he's like, so instead, I got your parents and some neighbors to come and give you gifts. And they all just like shuffle in like they all like happy birthday, and then they just stand silently behind him for the rest of the scene.
Yes. I cannot stress enough the way this scene is lit and like shot is so off-putting and like anxiety-inducing
Because it's just the birthday cake.
Yep, the birthday candle is the only thing lighting the room, and like the whole scene is bathed in red. It's like really upsetting. Like the entire time it was happening, I was sitting there just like, no, something's wrong. I really don't like this. It was legitimately giving me a pit in my stomach. I was like, I fucking hate this, dude. What is happening?
Actually, no. That is the second. Like the part where his like life actually gets better is like the second, because it's he goes inside and then it cuts to them being like, that sounds like that's a good thing that your mom was suddenly nice to you and all that, and then he goes on to talk about like how his life got suddenly better, and then it's the 8th birthday.
Yeah, so it briefly cuts back to the kids, but nothing of like super important happened. Like
because they're like, that sounds good. Anyways, keep going.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, the 8th birthday scene fucks me up.
And so after the 8th birthday scene, it cuts back, and they're like, that still sounds good.
There's like, so like what exactly is wrong with everything that happened?
And he goes, okay, I'll tell you. And so I think the next one is just like he's watching TV with Ukomon, right?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
watching TV, and Return of Diaboromon is literally happening, or Revenge of
Yeah.
Diaboromon is happening.
He's like watching a cartoon, but then it's like breaking news.
Mm-hmm. And then
There's currently a fight happening over here.
yeah, and then this is this one is rough. This is when like things finally just like everything starts crumbling, and you could see it happen in real time, and it's just like no.
Because his dad comes home.
Yeah, well, no. What happens first is
Oh, right.
yeah. Ukomon's like, see, look, those are the friends I made for you, and he's just like, why are they fighting? Why are they getting hurt? And he's like, well, of course they're gonna fight. You said you wanted people to protect you. They're even willing to die for you. And he's just like,
I think it was specifically the Digimon are even willing to die for their friends.
Yes.
Rather than for Louis himself.
And like at this point, like this is like the complete shift. This is when everything just completely flips and it just starts fucking going
Louis,
downhill.
like the gears start moving in Louis's head, and he's like, "Oh, I fucked up, didn't I?"
Yeah.
So he's probably about 10 or 11 at this point, because I think he's the same age as the O2 kids.
Yeah, maybe.
Because he has a slightly different hairstyle again. I think it's like a little longer than it was at the 8th birthday scene.
Is it his birthday in this scene though? Like,
I don't think so.
No.
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 Okay.
I mean, no, it's not in this one.
Yeah, because
okay.
I don't think.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I don't think Revenge of Diaboromon took place during February. So they, his dad gets home as Louis just like, what do you mean? That's not what I wanted. Why would you make them do that? Like, that's not at all what I wanted. And Ukomon's like, yes, you did. And like, there's the part where like he turns sideways, like very slowly, and is just like, but this is what you asked for. And then his dad gets home.
Yeah.
And his mom goes, "Oh, hey, honey,"
And then you
And
hear them
goes
both collapse.
in the
Yep.
hallway, and Louis is like,
Runs out there,
What's happening?
is screaming like, what's happening? Are you okay? Get up. And then Ukomon's like, oh, you silly parents. You can't go collapsing now. We still need you. And he has these disgusting tendrils that come out of all of his hands. And they go in.
Fucking gross.
Yeah, and it goes inside his entire parents' bodies and lifts them up, and they start convulsing, and he starts dancing them around like little marionettes.
"Can we
Yeah.
talk about Ukomon's design now?"
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when Ukomon is first born, it is very clearly like a singular cell.
In the middle of mitosis.
Yeah,
Like,
being born and splitting. And then like the actual cell in his little stomach is in the process of splitting the entire time. Like it's got the little line through it. Which is very important because it's incredible. It's like it's basically
also-
yeah.
He's also based off of, what is it called? I have an image here. Hold on. I prepared for this one. Maybe. He's based off what is called Angels of the Sea, or a sea angel.
Yes,
and they're
yeah.
these like deep sea creatures, and they're predators.
Oh.
And sea angel, so it's from Google. Sea angels catch their prey by shooting tentacles out of their face and grabbing its prey.
I did not know they were actually based off of.
Same.
I didn't know sea angels did that.
Mhm.
Because I knew what a
Well,
sea
yeah,
angel was. I saw like the design. I was like, oh hey, that's that thing from Animal Crossing.
Yeah. He's like very clearly based off like both a cell and like a sea angel, and it's very cool. And so the tentacle part, like especially here and then later too, of course,
Yes.
is like, oh god.
So yeah, it starts puppeting around his parents, and Louis starts freaking the fuck out. He's like, "This isn't what I wanted at all. What are you doing? I hate this. Like, this isn't like what I want." And
Pokemon's like, no, it's exactly what you wanted.
yeah, this is what you asked me for. And so like Louis just basically starts having a breakdown, and this is when the entire scene goes red. Like the lighting gets super harsh, and everything is just bathed in red.
Horrifying.
Mhm.
And so like Louis just kind of like drops his hands to his side, and he's like out in the entranceway of his house, and then he walks over to the little umbrella thing, and he grabs a fucking baseball
not
bat.
Not yet.
What?
First, he grabs Ukomon by like the arms.
Right,
and,
he
like,
tries to strangle Ukomon to death.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure he's trying to strangle Ukomon. I'm like, he's like trying to like pop his arms off or something. And while he's doing this, Ukomon is like, "It's okay. If this is what makes you happy, then it's okay."
Yeah.
And
very-
Louis like, "What the fuck do you mean it's okay?"
Yeah, this is like things just keep getting worse and worse and worse. And then Louis realizes this isn't working, so he gets up, walks over, and grabs a fucking baseball bat. And at that point, I was like, "Oh my god, he's going to beat Ukomon to death with a fucking baseball bat."
His parents are like, "Oh, you're gonna play baseball? Not right now. It's getting late.
Yeah.
Let's wash our hands and have dinner."
Both his parents are just like hovering around him, staring. It is so off-putting and weird. So he grabs the baseball bat and is like walking back toward everyone. I was like, no. And then thank God he takes the Digivice out of his pocket and like sets it on the like little desk. And I was like, oh, thank God. I thought he was gonna take the bat to all three of them.
I thought he was just gonna beat the shit out of
when I was watching the sub, everyone in the theater was like, "Yo!"
I think that was definitely like intentional. Though.
Yes,
like to make us think that he was going to beat Ukomon to death like that, because after strangling him, but then he puts it on the desk and he's like, oh, he like perceives like the Digivice as being like
it's what connects them.
Yeah, and so he goes, if I destroy this, then Ukomon like doesn't have to like won't do anything for me anymore.
And so we get the really violent and aggressive shots of him slamming the baseball bat down on the Digivice, and that's how it wound up getting broken from what we see in the present day.
But
unfortunately,
on his like last hit, he like slightly misses and like clips the side of the Digivice. And so it, like, rebounds and hits him in the face.
Yep. It hits him right in his right eye. And, holy shit, this is more violent than I was expecting. Because he starts screaming, and, like, blood is pouring from his eye socket. He's, like, sitting there gripping his face. And Ukomon's freaking the fuck out.
He's like, oh, I know. I'll just give you my eye. And then everything will be all better.
Yeah.
So Ukomon rips an eye out of his head. Just does it, just removes his own eye, and then presses it into Louis' face. And Louis is, like, sitting there, like, screaming, gripping his hand. And then he looks up in the mirror, and you get the full shot of his entire face with the Digimon eye, and, like, blood coming out of the eye socket and everything.
It's in one of the trailers if you look. It's like a shot.
It's during the opening.
Yeah, during the opening.
During the opening, you briefly get a flash of the birthday cake for his 8th birthday and the shot of his bloody eye.
Yeah.
Which is fucked up.
And then he turns to Ukomon and just starts to go off.
It's like, why would you think this would make me happy? This isn't what I want. You have no idea. You don't know the first thing about me. You don't know what makes me happy. And Ukomon like...
breaks. He like
literally just starts fucking melting down, and it's like, whoa, what the fuck?
And like splattering like across the room and like onto Louis, and Louis is like horrified. He's like, what?
The way the way it's shot, where like it's splattering onto his face, you would almost think that it was originally a shot of him beating Ukomon with the fucking baseball bat, and it's splattering back on him. Like it's crazy.
And so, like, Ukomon, like, fully, like, melts onto the ground, and, like, there's just, like, a couple seconds of silence where Louis, like, standing there and is like, what? And then all of, like, the goo, like, on the ground, like, it starts to glow and, like, forms back into an egg. And then the egg disappears.
And then his parents collapse, because they're dead, I guess.
It's either exhaustion. I mean, Dad is definitely dead. No, actually, no, they are dead because he. I think they are both dead because I think he mentions he went to live.
Oh yeah, no,
they're dead.
He went to live with relatives, and now he's just living on his own.
Yeah.
The kids, I think, right after this flashback, they're just like, "What happened afterward?" And he's like, "Well, I lived with relatives for a while, and now I live on my own." All the kids are like, "What the fuck, bro?"
And he's like, "I mean, I told you."
Told you I killed him. So yeah, that was
which I think that was also like one of the reasons why I thought he was gonna beat him to death with the baseball bat, because like we hear him say like,
I killed him.
I killed my Digimon partner. So you go, oh shit, but then
which he technically did, because he mentions like, I figure taking away Ukomon's purpose would make him disappear, and he was right. It was just the most horrific and violent disappearance there could have been.
But it's not like he like it's not like he wanted Ukomon. Like he was trying to like get across to Ukomon that like, hey, like this isn't what I want. You're not listening.
Mm-hmm.
But in doing that, like, it sort of broke Ukamon to a point that Ukamon just died because of it. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't like, you can tell from Louis' reaction in that flashback that like Ukamon like exploding there is not at all what he wanted to happen there.
No, yeah, because
Yeah.
he's like curious what's happening and is freaking out and everything. Oh god. So yeah, we're back in the computer lab and everyone's just kind of taking in everything that happened.
And then the clock strikes 12.
Yeah, we hit midnight, February 29th,
We
2012.
should probably mention that the egg appeared like a week before like all the they
Yes.
meet Louis.
It was on the 21st.
And then they meet Louis on the 28th, and as you're going through the flashbacks, as you learn that his birthday is the 29th, you go, "Oh, it's the 28th. Something is going to happen on Louis' birthday," and Louis doesn't realize that.
Yeah, you see, like, it cuts to the clock hitting 12, and immediately they're just like, uh-oh.
Well, because the clock hits 12, like you see the hand move, but it does not linger on that shot whatsoever, and it immediately cuts to like a crack appearing, lengthwise on the egg.
Because like there's a very brief moment where they're talking, and like it cuts to the clock when it's at like 3 seconds until, and like the second it hit the clock, you're just like, oh fuck, oh no, it's gonna be the 29th.
And then it also, I think, like in between flashbacks, it starts to snow.
Yes.
Just like the first night that they met.
Mm-hmm.
And so when the egg hatches, they all go up to the roof to like sort of see what's going on.
God, I love the panning shot of them all against the fence looking at the egg. It's so good. It's so good.
It's so good. There's a lot of stuff that happens on the roof that I'm like, oh my god, they popped off.
Yeah, no, I think the rooftop scene is the best scene in the movie.
Because they all start talking about like what they have to. Because I think Ukamon like finally like fully hatches, and it's like this huge like. There's like eye sockets. There's not really eyes. It's just sort of like two little indentations, and he like unfolds, and it's honestly it kind of looks like a Macy's like Thanksgiving Day parade. Like
so
float.
yeah. This form of Ukamon is the one where I was just like, oh, that's a sea angel, like explicitly.
Yeah. And then, well, it shows all that imagery of like the cell splitting again. And then it also shows like before you actually see like Ukamon unfold, Ukamon's body itself before it unfolds is also in like the shape of a cell splitting.
And there's like that little crease where it starts unfolding, and it's like, oh.
And
I love symbolism.
So they all start talking about like what they like. Do we fight it? Yada yada yada. And I think I forget specifically like what exactly happens in the conversation, but like Louis is like standing up against like the little like building where the stairs would be in like the shadow of the building, and like you can see like him shuffle his feet and like not cross like the boundary of where the shadow goes into the light. And it's so good.
They do that again later, and it's one of my favorite shots of the movie. But yeah, so everyone starts.
Sorry. Did we already get to the part where it fucking shoots out a bunch of tentacles that are connected to eggs?
That is during the conversation about what they want to do about this whole thing.
Right. Yeah. I was just gonna mention.
Because first they talk about how many Digijet, because they start talking about like, well, if we defeat Ukamon, what happens to like the bonds between people and Digimon? Because Ukamon created
quote unquote
initially,
yeah.
And so Takeru and Hikari have like this really good like conversation where like Takeru's like really insecure about it, because we see that a lot in the original Adventure series where he's like really insecure about like the relationships that he has with his friends and his family because his parents got divorced. Whereas Hikari is like very secure and is like, we should do it anyways for the good of everyone.
Yeah, because she has a fantastic relationship with everyone in her life.
Yeah. Which I think is just like a really really good characterization.
Yes, it's great contrast.
And Louis just sort of like silent throughout the whole thing, like he doesn't say all that much, I don't think.
Yeah, and then I think it's during this conversation that like all of a sudden Ukamon's head splits open.
First, I have one thing. I think it's Iori mentions like Koshiro, like the amount of new they say that there's like 60,000 Digigestin
currently, yeah.
And that in the past year they have doubled.
Every year, the number of Digidestin doubles.
Hey, Angel.
Yeah.
What happens when a cell goes through mitosis?
It keeps doubling.
It doubles.
Mm-hmm.
Ah!
It's so good! It's so fucking good! But yeah, so the Ukamon's head splits open, and these fucking, like, yellow tendrils shoot out into, like, a giant spiral pillar that spreads like a web across basically the sky of the whole world. It's nuts. It's also disgusting.
It's really fucking gross, yeah.
I have an image of it.
Yes, I will throw up the image on the screen now. So this is what it looks like. It is horrific looking. Like, legitimately fucking horrific looking. And then, so, like, while this thing is... And then, like, it has a bunch of little...
You can't see it in this picture, but it almost, like, those yellow, like, orange tentacles, like, become, like, this almost, like, huge tree of sorts.
Oh, hold up. Where's the picture?
Oh, sorry. Here, I'll... let me just...
I wouldn't post it anywhere because...
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like... It's so disgusting.
Yeah.
And you see, like, these, like, fruits hanging down where, like, digi-eggs are like, slowly forming. And it's such, like, nice imagery of, like, like, a tree and then fruit.
And then everyone very suddenly comes to the realization that the message, I want everyone to have friends, every human should have a Digimon, was fucking literal. Very literal.
And they go, that's not good, because...
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, Ken's like, there are 7 billion people on the planet. If everyone was to get a Digimon at once, we wouldn't survive.
Yeah.
And I mean,
anyways, before we move on, I want to go back to the whole thing Lot was said earlier about how Ukamon is probably Ukamon's creator or whatever is probably Yggdrasil.
Yeah.
And tie that into the comparison of how this whole image looks with the fruit, quote unquote, of the Digi-eggs. Very clearly reminiscent of the actual, like, mythological Yggdrasil. Not the Digimon Yggdrasil, because that looks nothing like it.
Yes.
But it's very clearly evoking that imagery. So you're probably right about that.
Yeah, that's... I genuinely believe they're finally setting up to bring Yggdrasil into the proper adventure timeline, where we're going to get one final movie eventually. And it's gonna be fucking crazy.
It would, if we do get that final movie, you would probably raise my opinion of this one a lot more, just by having a bit of closure.
Also, watching O2, we will get.
Yeah, watching O2 will probably help your opinion about this movie. This is when everyone's just like, 7 billion people. It's gonna be really bad. Takaru starts freaking out about what'll happen, and I think I'm trying to remember what exactly.
It's Iori looks on the laptop at, like, the footage of when they first flew towards the egg and goes, "Look."
It's Miwako, doesn't she? Because
Miwako.
She's like, Hawkmon, and Hawkmon's like, already got it.
Which is, like, further emphasizing, like, that the bonds that these people have with their Digimon is not, like, fake. Like, she doesn't even have to say that she wants her laptop. Hawkmon already knows, like,
what's happening.
What she needs.
Yeah, and Leon, of course it's not Iori. Iori doesn't get to fucking do anything in this movie.
Yeah, it's a little funny.
That's fair.
That's just a carryover from O2. It's fine. They never knew what they wanted to fucking do with Iori.
It's okay, because Ankylomon got a nice moment.
True. But yeah, so they review the footage and they see that it was actually like a spectral tendril that smacked Paiudramon out of the air. So they're like, oh shit. Ukamon's trying to get in contact with you, Louis. Like, you have to talk to him. Like, we cannot emphasize enough that you have to have a fucking conversation with him. Do you get it yet, Louis? Talk to him!
And he kind of, like, meanders around it for a little bit before eventually Daisuke's like, let's just fucking do it, bro.
Yeah, it's They Daisuke and Vmon like go and like walk up to the fence again while everyone's arguing about it. Also, there's a really good character moment where Ken mentions like we have to make a decision, and Iori goes, "There's no time, we have to go now." And Ken like starts freaking out, and Miwako's like, "Hey, whoa, calm down, think it through, like stay calm and think about it, Ken. Like think."
We can still act now, but also think it through while we're acting it. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
It's just really good. I fucking love Miwako. I love
And
Miwako.
then Daisuke and Vmon make a ramen analogy and go, nah, we're gonna be good. Let's just do it.
We're making it to tomorrow, no matter what.
Yeah.
And it's like the whole all right, so yeah, let's make some more tomorrow. Yeah, we'll double the pork broth this time. And it's like, I didn't even have to say anything. And Beamon's like, of course, how many conversations do you think we've had?
Yeah.
It's like, haha, do you fucking get it yet, Louis? You stupid motherfucker. You have to talk to people.
And then Davis goes back and he's like, all right, come on, bud, take my hand.
Yeah, we get the shadow cast on Louis' face as Davis reaches his hand out, and then he grabs his hand, and Daisuke pulls him into the light.
Yeah!
Fucking awesome.
Such a good moment, like, especially with because I saw him, like, when I first saw him, like, shuffle into the shadows, I was like, oh, I really hope they do this, like, the one trope.
It's so nice they do it twice, and the second time for me is even more satisfying because of the implications of it.
And so they're like, all right, let's get on with it, and everyone DigiVerse.
Yeah, we get all 6 of them happening at once. It's so fucking cool.
I know why it's different, but Hikari, like,
it always kills me. Just
so
that
funny.
reminder of, hey, did you know that Tailmon is a level 4?
No, yeah.
I'm like, I was like, this. I wish they would have put it in one of the middle slots, because it being in the corner slot, like, I'm like,
It's really fucking funny.
It's so funny.
Like, dog. Can we at least try to have it be symmetrical?
It's so funny. But yeah, so I was disappointed in the fact that they reanimated the entire Anjuomon sequence and they relegated it to a 1/6 of the screen. I was like, come on, you fuckers. Really? It's such a good sequence.
So we get obviously we get Vidramon? No, Xvmon?
Yeah.
We get Stingmon, we get Ankylomon, we get Aquilamon, and then we get Angemon and Angelomon.
Yes.
In that evolution sequence. And then of course Stingmon and Xvidramon just fucking digivolve.
Yeah, they go straight into Pale Dramon, and I think then they immediately go into Imperial Dramon too, which is sick as fuck.
They remake the castle blowing up even.
It's so good. It's so fucking cool.
All of the 3D models are really good. So like it's Daisuke, Ken, and Louis are like flying towards Ukomon.
Yeah,
and
they're in that weird hammer space Imperial Dramon has.
Yeah. And then everyone else, Takeru, everyone else is like in a car.
In Takeru's van.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like racing along the streets.
It's really good.
Why is there no one out on the street right now, by the way?
Would you want to be out there?
I don't think anyone would be out. Also, there are people out on the street.
Yeah,
we see them later and they almost die.
They're running.
Fair enough.
They just luckily got out of the way of them.
And there's like a really good like fight sequence, like a couple like fight sequences.
There's a funny bit where Angelomon gets knocked out of evolution so they can fucking jog.
So they can jogres, yeah.
It's really funny.
She immediately she does nothing. She just gets bodied.
And it's just like, okay, it's like, well, yeah, okay, fuck it, let's go, joggers time, everybody. So we get
Sylphimon and
Shakomon.
Also, Shakomon, I mean, like, Shakomon seems pretty easy to model. Sylphimon looks amazing.
Yes.
Like, even better than Pyildramon, I would say.
Sylphimon looks crazy how good it is.
It has the buff of being human-shaped.
Yeah.
So it's just easier to animate. And, you know, people usually have more experience with animating human-shaped characters compared to big fucking monster.
But there's a really good like sequence of like Sylphimon like just fighting a bunch of tentacles, and it's got like really crazy like camera movements, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it's really good.
They are making use of that 3D camera. It is crazy.
Yeah, I know the action in this movie is fantastic, even if there's only like 5 minutes of it.
Yeah.
It's funny because like I remember watching it, and my immediate thought like toward the end of this, where I was like, oh, okay, cool, this is like the big action scene, was gonna be like, man, there are gonna be people who really dislike this movie because they don't like Digimon for the right reasons. It's like Digimon was never an action show, guys. It's literally always been like the
Friendship and
relationships
love and-
between people.
And then they all like both Shakomon and Sylphimon go up to help Imperial Dramon Dragon mode, but then they go into Paladin mode.
Fighter mode.
Or fighter mode, whatever. Fucking
I think
whatever.
does he go into? No, I don't think he goes into fire mode before Louis jumps out, right?
No.
I think he's still in dragon mode when Louis jumps.
Yeah.
No, because they go in before.
Wait,
he
no,
jumps
you're
in.
right. He does go into fighter mode and then Louis jumps.
Oh, okay.
Because
'Cause they need to
like he
fucking
grabbed
smack away
the
the tentacles.
tentacles. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, drag him closer. I forgot about that. They in fighter mode fucking grabs the tentacle and drags the giant Ukomon closer so that Louis
Well,
can jump.
actually-
It's sick as fuck.
I don't actually think that we know that Louis is in the like hammer space that they have yet, because they get to Ukomon and they like you see Ken and Daisuke part and you see like
Oh,
him,
yeah.
like, he's like sitting there like waiting for like a marathon to start and he just fucking bolts.
It's so good. He fucking just jumps out. So, yeah,
Also,
he,
Gets into the-
Like you said, mentioned earlier, forcibly pulling Ukomon closer to them is a funny bit of symbolism.
mhm.
Oh god, yes.
It's so good. There's so much good shit in this movie.
And there's also like if you I don't know if you want to bring up the image again, but like the part that Louis jumps into is like the weird like pitcher plant looking thing.
Yes.
Mhm.
Where like it specifically it's like a sweet like I don't actually have this information pulled up. I have it just stored in my brain somewhere. But like pitcher plants use like a sweet smelling like nectar inside their bowls to like attract bugs and such, and so that when a bug crawls in there, they go and sip the nectar, but they can't get back out.
Yeah.
So clearly, I think if Louis hadn't learned or hadn't figured out what he wanted to do before he went in there and was just going to try the same thing again, I don't think he would have gotten back out alive.
No, I think it's also represented the fact that Ukomon wants to talk, is the fact that
Yeah.
it's even visible in the first place. Like the vines are intentionally parted to be able to see this location on his body.
Mhm.
And so he goes back into the past.
Yeah.
To the exact moment we saw before.
Yes, he is.
I think it even plays the shot of Hikari and Taichi.
No,
doesn't it?
that does not play.
Oh, it doesn't?
No,
No.
because he's like a little bit further, and this is when God, I fucking love this part so much. Oh my god. So he sees his mother walking again toward the edge of the bridge, and right as she passes under the bridge and steps into the shadowed area, he grabs her hand, and she turns
Yeah.
around and she's like, "Who the fuck are you?" And he's like,
Let go of me.
yeah, he's immediately just like, listen, I know it's hard. Things are terrible. I'm sorry. But
You've got a
please,
kid.
yeah, like, please pay attention to your son. You have no idea how much he loves you. Please, you have to treat him better. And then she, like, looks past him and she sees Louis, like, struggling to catch up with her. And, like, Louis lets go of her hand and it, like, recedes a little bit. And then immediately she runs back into the light and goes and grabs Louis. And I'm just like, yes, fuck yeah, let's fucking go.
And I think there's like it's a little bit implied, but I think there's like also a moment where like she realizes the person that she's talking to is an older Louis.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't explicitly say that, but like I think she's like, oh shit, like, yeah.
She probably considers this like it like a weird religious experience she had. But God,
And so-
I love that. I love that sequence so goddamn much because it's like, oh hey, look, Louis has learned how to reach out to people to bring them and have conversations with him. He's fucking
Yeah.
getting it.
Yeah.
And then it changes. I think just that specific past. Like I don't think it actually changes like the real past, because I think his
it
eye is still
doesn't.
fucked up afterwards.
Yes, it's strange because like his eye is still fucked up, but he doesn't have the Digimon eye, so things are different.
I imagine it's a matter of, well, Ukomon can literally grant wishes.
Yeah.
So Ukomon just gives him a new eye.
Well, no, because he's still blind in the eye because it's closed when we see it.
Yeah, he's got like a scar over it. I think this is more of like Ukomon is like recreating this memory to like see what Louis will do with it. Maybe rather than like actually like changing the past.
But we know it. Well, we know it did change the past, because if it didn't change the past, his eye would be the fucking Digimon eye still. So like something changed.
That could have been just Ukomon being Ukomon, you know?
Well, I feel like at this point it's like a little bit of fatalism where like some events are predetermined to happen. Like Louis loses his eye. Yeah. Louis loses his eye. That's something that has to happen. However, like we immediately see that like I think the past did change, because like we see his mother like we cut to like
him on the balcony.
Yeah,
with
older
Ukomon.
Louis is like in the location where the egg appears, and you briefly see like inside, and you can his mother is feeding him the hamburger steak, and they're all very happy, and it's just like
it's not hamburgers, it's a birthday cake.
Oh, that's right, it's the 4th birthday. I forgot that took place on his 4th birthday.
I don't think they ever actually go into the past. I think it's literally it's more of them going into the memories and Ukomon simulating what would happen from there.
That's what I took from it, because it, like, you see all like the when he first jumps in, you see all like the film reels of like the past.
Like if he could, if Ukomon could actually take them to the past, I imagine the fucking consequences of that would be way more drastic.
Especially because of what happens later, but I guess we can get into that.
Yeah,
later.
It's also just like, in that case, why is his eye different? Like, the past must have changed. It's fucked up. It's weird.
I think it's possible that just like Ukomon just took his eye back.
Yeah.
Why would he do that?
So he can have both eyes again.
Well, not even so that he can have both eyes. It's so that Louis doesn't have to have the fucking weird monster eye.
And have to wear an eye patch over it for the rest of his life, you know? He can just say like, oh yeah, I was in an accident as a kid and lost my eye, you know?
Well, I guess we'll get confirmation whether or not the past has actually changed in the 3rd movie, whether or not we see if Louis' parents are alive.
But so he starts talking to Ukomon, like actually talking, and is like, "You really annoyed me, by the way." And Ukomon's like, "Yeah, you annoyed me too."
It's like, "Yeah, I know tons of things about you. I know you like baseball and cake." And Louis like, "I don't actually like any of those things."
And he's like, "You're annoying."
It's like, "You lied to me, you son of a bitch." And then they just go back and forth, and they're just like, "Man, we didn't like any of the stuff we did for each other, huh?" And they both just start laughing about it.
And Louis, I think Louis specifically says, "Man, we were never really good at having conversations with each other."
Yep, we're so bad at conversations. Oh, it's wonderful.
And I think Ukomon goes on to say like, something like, "We'll meet again, but like you know what you have to do now, right?"
Yeah. And so we cut to Louis is back in the present, and he's again falling because he just went through the Ukomon.
And of course, Imperial-Dramon
catches him, and they're both just like, he's just like, "We have to kill him," and they're like, "No, it failed," and he's like, "No, it's fine. We talked, and this is the decision we reached. We gotta kill him." And they're just like, "All right then, let's kill him." And then we get another sick-looking action sequence.
Yeah.
Megadeth.
I feel like a lot of people are going to complain about this action sequence in particular, but I think if you take it in the sense of like Ukomon like doesn't want to fight, so like obviously like Ukomon is like resisting a little bit, but like only in the sense that like just to make it a little more real, I guess. Like it's an easy fight because Ukomon wants them to win.
Yeah, because the fight's over in like not even 2 minutes. We get shots of Sylphimon using the, oh god, what the hell is her attack called? Top Gun, I think.
Yeah, I think it's called Top Gun.
I specifically remember because it's fucking Top Gun.
Yeah.
And then Shakomon uses fucking like Holy Beam or something.
I forget the name of his attack. In English, he screams "Justice Beam" and then shoots live ball lasers.
And then Imperial-Dramon uses like fucking
Gigadeath.
Megadeth.
It's Gigadeath in fighter mode, yeah.
Yeah.
And just fucking like shoots a hole into Big Ukomon. So actually, the official terminology for this Ukomon is Big Ukomon.
Yeah.
And just shoots like a hole through Big Ukomon's like the cell part, like where the cell would be of his body. And then Ukomon disappears.
Yep, fades away. And all the Digi-Eggs go away, thank God. That would have been rough.
It sure would have.
And they're all just hanging out in the middle of an abandoned intersection, and it's snowing, and the snow's there, and they're all just like talking about it, and yeah, they're chilling. They're just like, man, holy shit. And then
they're like, our Digimon are still here.
Yeah, like yeah, so it's like yeah, our Digimon are still here, so I guess that confirms that Ukamon was not in fact responsible for the actual like connections between people and Digimon. And then their Digivices start disappearing.
Yeah.
Which makes the link between Ukamon and the Digivice like that much more clear, in the sense that like the Digivice is what brought the Tamers and their Digimon together, but the
it's
rest
not
of
what
it
keeps them.
Yeah. The bonds
like
they share are what actually keep them
and
together.
I think it's Takuru that says it, like that says like maybe we haven't needed these for a long time.
God, them saying there's a very specific line where they talk about how like I think it's specifically like, you know, maybe we haven't needed these things for a while, as the Digivices are disappearing. To me, really felt like just being like, fucking move on, guys. Like yes, the original stuff is cool. Let it go.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Because
I was just gonna say, I am curious how they're gonna address the whole how the fuck are they gonna digivolve whenever they make a third movie?
Yeah,
they still have the phones.
True.
Do those let them the phones?
I mean, the phones are what was doing it in the first place.
They did it initially. In Kizuna they used the phones initially, and all of the like Digivices were like.
But that may have just been a thing Koshiro rigged up, where they were were linked to the Digivice themselves, so they might also be gone.
But I see, my interpretation of like the maybe we haven't needed these things for a while is like specifically, I think they were maybe specifically talking about like the digivolving, like maybe they can just digivolve when they need to now.
True. Yeah.
Fair. Yeah.
We'll find out. Maybe.
Yeah, we will. I mean, no, I think we have to, because like if
we don't get a third movie, I'm gonna be mad.
Yeah. And then it's like quiet for a while as they're all like reflecting, and then you see Daisuke just like chuck a snowball at someone.
Iori.
We missed the most important part. I just remembered when they're after the end, and they're like standing in Imperial German or what? No, they're waiting for.
You're right. We forgot the most important line of the movie.
It's Louismon has just jumped into Big Ukamon, and Ken and Daisuke are standing there, and Daisuke's like really on like calm, and Ken's like, you're pretty calm for that. He's like, sometimes you gotta take a step back and be calm, and Ken's like, I learned that from making ramen. And Ken's like, you know, this kind of calm and collected side of you ain't that bad. And then Miwako's like, can you two stop flirting, please?
Yeah.
And Daisuke's just like, we're not fucking flirting. And this line was like, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
Anyways, but yeah, they start having a snowball fight.
Best line in the movie.
Yes. So yeah, fucking Daisuke fucking hits Iori in the face with a snowball, and they all start. It immediately breaks out into a giant snowball fight.
Oh, and also before the snowball fight, we see that Louis has like a very small Digitama in his hand. That is very clearly Ukamon's.
Yeah, we get little character interactions between everyone. Miwako and Ken are sitting there, and she's like, "Hey."
I'm sure it's the pairings from the O2 epilogue, isn't it?
Technically, the only official pairing actually from the epilogue is Miwako and Ken. Those are the only two that ever officially got together. There's implications for Hikari and Takeru, but I don't think they ever actually officially confirmed anything about that.
Unless they do it in the next movie.
We'll fucking see. I fucking hate the O2 epilogue so much.
And then I think Louis doesn't play for a little bit, but then gets like chucked at him, and he's like, all right.
Yeah, because we see, because Miwako and Ken are talking, and she mentions, hey, you know, like, we can keep thinking about all this stuff, and, you know, maybe if you want to think about it together. And then she hits him in the face and runs away. And he's just like, what? Huh? Hey, wait, hold on. What the fuck does that mean? Hello?
Actually, as the Digivices are all disappearing, we also get a bunch of shots from like all of the other like Tamers that we see in O2. Like there's the set of triplets that all have Sayakomon. There's the Maramon girl who I forget who, and then there's also fucking what's his name with the Terriermon and Lopmon.
Yes, God, there's the Wallace jump scare. He has Terriermon and Lopmon. It's great. There's also the rich
Wallace
girl
has
with
been
the
in both movies.
Yeah.
Though.
So there was another one that I was actually in both. The rich girl with the Floramon is actually in Kizuna as well. Yeah.
Because it's honestly like my favorite part of Kizuna, where it's Wallace on the beach and you see Lockmon and like Terriermon like jumping around, and I'm like, man,
so happy for them.
Yeah.
They deserve the world.
And then after the snowball fight, like it just sort of like pans out, I think.
Yeah. Well, Hikari also dumps a giant mound of snow on Tailmon's head, because Tailmon's just like, you guys are so immature, and Hikari's like, get over yourself, and drops the snow on her.
And she's like, all right, that's it.
You see the slow-mo shot of Tailmon throwing a snowball directly at Patamon. It's really good. God, I love the ending to this movie. And then then it goes into credits, and then there's a very, very brief post-credits scene of Louis looking down, and he gets this really, really nice expression where he's like starting to cry and like looks so happy. And then it cuts to the
Ukomon, ...
cuts to the Ukomon egg, and then it briefly wiggles, and then it cuts.
Which honestly, like, I mean, yeah, duh.
Yeah, like no duh, Ukomon's alive and is hatching.
But
yeah, that's that.
It's a good movie. There's a lot of like, one of my biggest loves about this movie is like Kizuna is like they're very constantly about how like the Digimon never change, whereas in this movie the Digimon are like, man, these kids never changed.
Yeah, Kizuna like is a movie about letting go of the past and like not getting stuck in a rut, and like learning that kids have unlimited potential and they need to live up to that, or they should try to live up to that unlimited potential rather than getting stuck in a rut and like waffling on what they want to do in life. Well, this movie is pretty blatantly about what it means to be friends and partners with someone, and the necessity of open communication in relationships.
Yeah.
You need to talk to people.
Yeah, my favorite part is like, you can, even from the beginning of the movie, like when we first meet Louis, you can tell he's bad at conversations. He does not try to talk with the O2 gang at all. He's like,
fucking immediately accusing them of shit and everything.
Yeah, well, not even that. He's like, all right, you saved me. I'm leaving now.
Yeah.
Doesn't even try.
Yeah.
Which, you know, like, when you're an abused child whose best friend for life killed his parents and did all homes and weird shit, it might fuck you up a little bit.
Yeah, but it's also another big thing is like, it's not just like having conversation, like not having a conversation is a big theme in like Ukomon and Louis' relationship, but like misunderstandings in general, where it's like they both misunderstand a lot of things about each other, but they also misunderstand things about the world around them when they're not together. Like, Ukomon, specifically when they're watching the fight from the Digimon movie, like on the TV, Ukomon is like, look, the Digimon are willing to sacrifice themselves for their tamers. That like part is only true for when they first meet the tamers. Like when they're all in their like baby form, like Koromon and all that, they like when they're fighting Kuwagamon, like they try to sacrifice themselves to save their friends. But like after that, all of like the fights is like they're it's less sacrificing and more like we are fighting for our friends and we want to live through this battle.
We are protecting
Ukomon,
them.
like, yeah, like Ukomon misunderstands that about that fight in the sense that like they're not necessarily trying to sacrifice themselves. It's just that they love their friends and they're going to protect their friends. And then of course Louis misunderstands the like how bonds work between humans and Digimon.
Yeah. Just immediately assumes like Ukomon is responsible for all bonds, that they're all lies. And it's like, no, these are real relationships that had formed through having conversations for years and years and years, to the point where they understand each other without even needing to like say things to each other.
It's also understanding.
Oh, good.
I was gonna say it's understandable for Louis to have that misconception because he only
no
ever had
he
had no friend. Like he had one friend, and they misunderstood about each other so like wildly that one of them died.
Anyways, I was just gonna say, I imagine part of the reason that Louis also gets upset against with Ukomon is that he probably took what Ukomon said as Ukomon being responsible for causing the fights to begin with.
Yeah.
Which, like, that's understandable. I also would not want to bring that shit into the real world.
Because it's like he says like, look, these are the friends I made for you. Look, they're willing to die and fight. It's like, and like with the implication that they want to be doing that when having seen Revenge of Diaboromon. No, they fucking don't, my dude. They are not happy about what's happening in that movie.
Yeah, and then the whole thing about like the Digivices disappearing. There was a moment where I rewatched the movie, the Kizuna movie, like a couple weeks ago, and I was talking with Lon about it, and I was like, they specifically say in the Kizuna movie, like when the timer ends, your partnership ends. But I'm like, why? To me, I was like, the word partnership is such a weird word to use. Like they are like best friends with each other. Like friendships don't end as easily as partnerships do. And so this movie sort of like confirmed that like the Digivice is not necessarily the end all be all for the friendship with Digimon.
Yeah. It is just what the Digivice was like, the way they are connected to a tamer on like a very superficial level. It is what creates the connection between the two initially, and then the bond they build from that point on is what like really establishes things to the point where at a point they don't need the Digivice anymore. Which is like almost like when they say like maybe we haven't needed these things for a long time, also feels like almost a callback to Kizuna of like because they're obsessed. They're obsessed with looking at the timer on their Digivice.
Yeah,
and it's like they're not paying attention to like the bond, and the bond they share is what causes the evolutions at the end of the movie.
Because at the end of the movie, they don't care about the timer anymore. They're like, we just need to fight to save our friends.
Yeah. It all wraps up they feed into each other. It's really good. God, I fucking love this pair of movies.
And there's also like more evidence for like the bond between human and Digimon doesn't necessarily need a Digivice. The original Koromon from the original OVA.
Yeah.
Like there was no Digivice involved in any of those Digivolutions or that fight at all. It was just like they took care of that Koromon, so then that Koromon fought to protect them.
It's very interesting because like Louis is the first Digi-destined, because he's the first one to receive a Digivice.
Right.
I don't know if his 4th birthday takes place before or after the incident in Hikarigaoka. I think it takes place afterward, because I think people mention the monsters. It's bizarre. Because, like, Taichi's not the first Digi-destined, but he might be the first human to make contact with a Digimon. It's really weird. The timeline of it is very vague, to the point where it might have even been happening on the same night.
Maybe, yeah. But it was Hikarigaoka, so maybe, you know.
Yeah.
Because do we know, like, if it was snowing at all during the OVA?
It was not, no.
It was not, no.
Yeah.
That happened during the summer, I believe.
Okay, so yeah. Maybe it was afterward then.
Yeah, so probably, yeah.
Maybe it was after, yeah.
It's just, God, the way they set up the time. I think my absolute favorite was during his 8th birthday when Ukamon says, I actually have made friends for you, other Digi-destined, but they're busy right now. It's like, oh, this is such a good way to be like, hey, this is roughly during the time that adventure is taking place. The other kids are currently a little busy.
Yeah. I'm trying to do, like, head math right now. From the time from his 4th birthday to his 8th birthday, would that have been enough time to... That would have been enough time to double to 8, right? Because there would have been...
Yeah.
So starts with 1, doubles to 2 the next year, doubles to 4 the next year, doubles to 8 the next year, which is 4 years?
I mean,
so,
yeah, because
like,
his 8th birthday's in 2004. So the other Digi-destined are, like, done with their stuff by that point.
Are they?
Yeah, because the original adventure takes place in, like, 2000. I'm pretty sure.
Isn't it 98?
Is it 98?
Oh no, I think it might be 2000.
It's like
check.
99 or 2000, because that's when the show aired. I'm pretty sure it takes place in the year it airs.
Right. Yeah, I'm checking all this out right now.
Because yeah, Kizuna's like 10 years afterward. Because Kizuna is 2010, I think.
Okay. No, I was trying to think about like the doubling thing, where maybe like it doubled to 8 after, the Ukamon, like his 4th birthday. Because then the year after, like, you know, February, and then it's like not necessarily a year, but it's the summer after.
I checked. The adventure movie allegedly takes place in 95, like the OVA.
Okay, got it. So it takes
adventure.
Place... Okay, so yeah, Taichi is the first human to make contact with a Digimon then.
That we know of.
Yeah. Adventure as a series is August 1st to 3rd in 99.
Yes, okay.
Our War Game 2000. Yeah, okay. Okay.
Wait a second.
Well, no, then that doesn't quite add up, does it?
Yeah, what? Hold on.
Hold on.
No, wait. Sorry, I got the dates confused. Louis is 4 in 96. Sorry. So
Okay,
yeah. So yes, Adventure takes place during his 8th birthday because that would be 2000,
Mhm.
early 2000. So yeah, it's
So,
probably
so I
they're
was
dealing
right about
they're
the doubling thing.
yeah they're dealing with the fallout of Adventure and into Adventure 02 during Louis' 8th birthday,
Yeah.
which means that Revenge of Diaboromon takes place slightly afterward because that's an 02 movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
Well, because I was thinking about like from his 4th birthday to like the start of Adventure, which is the 8th birthday. Like that's enough time for it to double every year the amount of tamers.
Yeah.
Even though they don't necessarily meet their Digimon then. But so because at the time of Adventure, there's 7 tamers, but then if we count Louis, there's 8.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, Diaboromon Strikes Back takes place in 03, so that would be right like a year before he's 12.
Yeah. He would be 11.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that all went up.
I'm glad we really got this timeline sorted out for the rest of the world.
Yeah. Don't worry, everybody. We got you. I'm literally going to separate the part of the video out as the time goes, be like timeline discussion because this movie pretty firmly establishes exactly when things take place.
Yeah.
But I do like the detail that like they actually made the detail of like the amount of Digidestin doubling like actually works out from like the 4th birthday to the 8th.
Mm-hmm. It's really good shit. It's like, oh god, this movie is so fucking
And then of
cool.
course there's the title.
Yes, the beginning, which is more blatant
Literally,
when you realize.
Mm-hmm.
Because like the movie synopsis, it just says it says Louis is someone that claims to be the first Digidestined. It never says at any point, oh yeah, by the way, this guy is like the catalyst for like literally everything that happened in Digimon. And then of course O2, Estelle splitting into 2, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
The number 2 being really prominent is like a really good idea on their part.
Mm-hmm. There's a whole lot of symbolism in this movie. It's kind of nutty.
Yeah. I'm like a math nerd sometimes, so like the whole like math and science nerd, so like the whole like the symbolism in Ukamon and like the cells splitting in 2, I love it so much.
It's real cool.
And then just as a final little thing I want to say, because we've pretty much talked about the movie to death at this point. The video is going to be longer than the movie at this point.
Yeah. That's the thing. This movie's really fucking short. It's like barely over an hour.
Well, it's like an hour and 20 minutes. It's an hour and 37 minutes total, but I think that also includes the
credit. Also, there's a fucking good few minutes of that are just Digivolution sequences.
Yeah, but they waste no time. The pacing of this movie, like, despite the fact that it feels slow, is like it goes. It fucking goes.
Yeah. There's like no downtime whatsoever.
Yeah, no,
which is like, I wish there was, because man.
That actually segues really, really greatly into a moment that me and Lot have. So we're in the same time zone. We both went to see the sub version of the movie at the same time.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And so before the movie started, like 10 minutes, I think it was like 10 minutes before the movie started.
Yeah, start playing all the ads.
It started playing all the ads. We're just talking through the ads because we both had the same exact ads at the same exact time.
Awesome.
Fucking, some fucking like music star thing came up, and I think both of us were like, who the fuck is this dude?
The very first ad, I was like, "Is that Markiplier?"
Markiplier.
And they had the Vita bracelet ad.
Yeah. 3 minutes before the movie, I was like, "Hey, is there a time for me to go to the bathroom during this movie?" And Lot went, "No."
There is not. This movie does not stop.
It does not stop. It was just really funny that our movies like synced up exactly because
literal same time zone.
And then the Grinch, and we were both like, "The Grinch."
The Grinch.
The Grinch.
Yeah, there was a Grinch ad because they're bringing it back to theaters for Christmas. So it's like, oh fuck, it's the Grinch.
And then after the movie, we were talking about homeostasis and Yggdrasil, and I went, "Are homosexual and Yggdrasil friends or enemies?"
Yeah, so the homeostasis thing, we'll talk more about homeostasis when we watch Try, because that is a Try invention. There's a thing that happens in Original Adventure where it is retconned into being homeostasis, but we haven't gotten there yet. And it sucks that Try did that because it kind of fucks a lot of stuff up as far as like the lore of the series. Because normally you would think something like that is fucking Yggdrasil because it makes more sense for it to be Yggdrasil. But no, Try had to be special and give a special thing to the weird. Fuck Try. But yeah, so we'll get more into that, and then hopefully by the time we get around to Try, Momo will have been able to have seen O2 at the beginning, and we can talk more about theories and shit. But we'll find out. Anyway, the very last thing I wanted to say is that all of their outfits in this movie are really, really good. Hikari and Miwako especially. And when they're in the computer lab and they're all in like their underclothes, Ken has the best. He's got just like a nice turtleneck. It looks really, really good on him.
I fucking love Miyako's design in this.
Yes, it's so good. She got the biggest
Super
fucking
cute.
glow up. Her and Hikari, because
Genuinely.
I despise Hikari's O2 design. I think it's terrible.
Yeah.
Her design and Kizuna in this are phenomenal. Love her designs in those two movies.
Speaking of Ken, I think they just did Ken overall really well because he's like, you can tell like in the intro he's still like really good at everything because he gets all the three girls like crowding around him, and then the really good shot of Wormmon just being like, "Fuck off!"
So sick of these bitches.
Yeah.
Get away, harlots.
This is my man.
There's also the shot of during the intro, just because the intro has a lot of cute little things. Of Daisuke opening his fucking drawer that has nothing but sunglasses in it.
Funniest man ever.
He's such
so
a fucking
funny.
dweeb. I love this guy.
This movie was overall like more lighthearted than Kizuna was, which
Oh,
I really
for sure.
enjoyed.
100%.
Well, 50-50.
Whenever it's not going into the
in the sense of like in Kizuna, I can't remember a specific time when there was like a joke.
No,
like,
yeah, because those kids aren't having fun. The thing about the O2 crew is the O2 crew is very clearly like a group of friends who fucking love hanging out with each other, and they're all very like jovial people, with the exception of like Iori is a very terse kid. But like they're all a very tight knit group of friends, and they love hanging out with each other, and that is like the huge difference between them and the original Adventure crew.
Yeah.
Also, the thing is, the Adventure kids were stuck in another world, being hunted down for like a year,
and had to like scavenge for their own survival and stuff like they were irreparably fucked up by that entire experience. Whereas the O2 kids can literally they like happen to figure out they can go into the digital world, and Koshiro was like, "Oh yeah, you can just go in whenever you want," and they were like, "Oh sweet, hell yeah."
Fucking Miwako being like, "God, I love the digital portals. They're like a free plane ticket."
Yeah,
because she's just like she's in some.
She uses them.
Yeah,
she's overseas.
Yeah, she's overseas in. I want to say it's India, but it might be somewhere else.
It's not India. It's somewhere. I want to say in the UK.
Okay.
Which is strange, but
I thought it was like Mexico. I thought she was like in Mexico or like South America somewhere.
She's not. She's Let me. They tell us this. Hold on. Let me look it up real quick.
But she's with the one girl from India that has the Marimon, I think.
Marimon.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just looking up what she's up to in the beginning.
But
oh, it says she's in Barcelona in Kizuna.
Okay.
She's
in Kizuna.
Spain. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I don't
why
know
I
if
thought
that's
it was-
still. I don't know if she's still there during the beginning.
Who knows?
She's in that same like room and apartment with the same girl at the beginning in the intro of the movie.
Yeah. So she's probably still in Spain.
Yeah, and then she, of course, goes to the ramen shop.
Yeah.
I just love that they, because like all of them are like at one point during their thing, I think a couple of them like get an alarm and they're like, oh fuck, it's time for the meetup, and they just I fucking love the fact that they just do this. Like they all just go to Daisuke's restaurant to hang out sometimes. It's phenomenal. I love it.
It's so
I love knowing that they do that.
They've got such a good dynamic.
I
really wish we got more.
I almost wonder, so in Kizuna, it takes a couple minutes for Koshiro to open the portal. I wonder if the time between Kizuna and O2, if like Koshiro like completely ironed out like all the kinks with like the portals.
Oh,
maybe.
for sure.
And maybe they can just make them on command now, which is why like that text being like, oh hey, by the way, get here, is probably how they're able to so quickly meet up. Whereas like the other Digijustins in Kizuna, like they were all off doing their own thing, like they had important stuff, so they probably like planned it in advance, because I think they met up on the 28th.
Yes,
like,
they did.
So
It was
the
28th.
egg probably appeared, and they were like, "Hey, let's meet up in a week to talk about this because
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
really like an issue."
Oh god. Fucking phenomenal movie. I loved it dearly. I think this discussion has really sold me. I do think I actually like this movie
Same.
more than Kizuna.
It's helped my opinion a lot more on it now that I've heard you two talk about
So
it.
enthusiastically.
Mhm. Also, let me check something.
Mhm.
February 28th. Okay, February. This takes in 2012, right?
Yeah, 2012.
Yes.
Okay. I was gonna say maybe they meet up on the 28th because it's like fucking a weekend or something, but no, it's a Tuesday.
No, yeah, it's probably just because it was the week after.
Because yeah,
Yeah.
you can even see them like they're all like in the middle of working in the intro when they all
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
like Hikari's like just getting off work. Armadillomon and Iori are like in the office. I love that Armadillomon is just like an office like assistant.
Yeah.
I hope he gets paid a wage for that.
Oh, so okay. Welcome to the dub zone. Digimon 02 the
Awesome.
beginning. There are some very minor dub changes. The script is more or less adopted exactly because they know what they're fucking doing now. One thing they did change that I really, really enjoy is during the restaurant scene where everyone's having the conversation about the egg and what like their friends are doing. In the background, Daisuke and Vmon are having an actual conversation that you can hear. It's really cute. They're talking about like what they should put in the ramen and like the measurements for everything, and they're just kind of like bullshitting with each other. It's really, really great. I fucking love it. It's so good. And then there's incidents of background dialogue, like when Daisuke cuts off Miwako, and like in the background you can hear her going, "No, that's fine, Daisuke. I was just talking. Like you don't, whatever. Don't listen to me. I guess."
That happens in like you can hear her talking behind them in the Japanese version, but because the subs are
Yeah.
poo kaka, they don't write it out for you.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
just so everyone knows, that's what she's saying. She's getting pissed off at Daisuke again because
Like,
of course
yeah,
she
no,
is.
I wasn't talking or anything.
It's so funny. It's so funny. I
was
honestly
the
think that
funniest?
was because I was trying to in my head mentally note like big
What about
differences.
the flirting? Did they do the flirting comment?
Oh yeah, no. The flirting is literally the word they use. Like I said,
Awesome.
I think the subs might literally just be the dub script for the most part.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I did notice like a couple, like I think specifically, like when they're in the car and like Armadillomon like or not Armadillomon, Ankylomon like blocks like the one attack from the tentacle from the car. Like Takanu goes like that was dangerous or that was close. But instead the subs say something like that's fast or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is annoying.
Yeah, there's like I think the subs are just the dub script, but thankfully there's so few changes as to like actual dialogue that it doesn't really matter. Because like Miwako doesn't use the word flirting, obviously, but given like that's the implication given Daisuke's reaction and everything, and also I'm using it as evidence for the fact that Daisuke's actually gay.
True.
Because he doesn't
also
flirt
curious.
with Hikari at all in the movie.
Yeah.
That bit just doesn't happen.
Yippee. Some nice friends you got there, Davis.
Nice friend you got there, Davis.
I think we should have Louis. We should have had Louis said that. Some nice friends you got there.
God, I would have fucking killed them if they had Louis say
Anyways,
nice friends you got there. Yeah, we got.
Angel, do you want a fun fact about Ukomon's voice actor?
It's Vern, I know, from
No.
Grand Blue.
No.
Oh, what?
I mean, yes, but no.
Yes.
They voiced Digitamamon in Ghost Game.
No way. Oh.
Yeah.
It's to me, it is divine comedy.
That's really fucking funny.
God.
They're
Okay.
also a character in like One Piece and stuff too.
All right, I got to end the video. We're at an hour 40. Bye, everybody.
Bye
Bye,
everyone.